has a price, and most people refuse to pay it. They want the strength without the scars, the crown without the weight, the respect without the discipline. If that is you, stop here. This is not a sermon about kindness or comfort. This is a map to becoming inhumanly strong. And the toll is your softness, your need for approval, and parts of the self you once mistook for humanity. Machiavelli would call it necessity. When survival or victory demands it, a ruler hardens. So does a man, so will you. First clear the lie that strength is a costume, muscle, cars, followers, decorations. Real strength is invisible until it is tested. It is the will that walks into the fire and does not beg the flames for mercy. It is the judgment that stays cold when the room goes hot. It is the silence that cannot be baited, the patience that outlasts storms, the courage to do what is required when comfort and opinion cry against it. Men who reach this level are not loud. They are heavy. You feel them before they speak. The world is not fair, and it will not become fair for your sake. It is sharpened by incentives, not pity. It rewards those who accept how it moves and punishes those who expect it to change. You are tested daily. The bill you cannot pay, the promise someone breaks, the rumor designed to pull you by the nose. Ordinary men flee. Sovereign men advance. They treat problems like weights on a bar, painful, exact, measurable, and useful. You add load on purpose because you intend to become someone for whom ordinary strain is warm-up, not injury. Begin by selecting your suffering. If you wait, life picks it for you. Wake before comfort wants you up. Train past the point where your flesh bargains. Work when your mind invents gentle reasons to stop. Fast when appetite roars. Sit with boredom, and do not reach for cheap novelty. Refuse the soft apology you give yourself for small lies, small delays, small betrayals. This is not cruelty. It is governance. A man who cannot govern himself is a province waiting to be occupied by appetite, fear, or opportunists with stronger calendars. Imagine a blade in the forge. Heat, hammer, water. Again, steel becomes a promise by surviving abuse. How many blows can you take without warping? Each voluntary hardship is a strike that hardens you. You do not wait for emergency to teach you endurance. You prepay. Then when the event comes, your nervous system recognizes the terrain. We have carried worse. We can carry this. The man who rehearses pain becomes unreadable to it. Pain shows up to negotiate. He shows up to collect. Your mind is the frontier. Most men let anything cross it. Fear walks in and plants flags. Envy walks in and writes new laws. Desire walks in and drafts your calendar. To become powerful, you fortify the border. Thoughts are not kings. They are petitioners. They line up at the gate and you ask, does this serve the mission? If not, denied. The pause is your first weapon. Between stimulus and response lies sovereignty. You do not reward provocations with speed. You value delay because delay keeps you from donating information and committing to foolish positions. Stand in chaos and remain exact. Treat emotions like soldiers. Useful when disciplined, mutinous when free. Anger is a spear. Keep it sheathed until the shot is certain. Compassion is a blanket. Offer it when it strengthens. Withdraw it when it weakens. Joy is wine. Sip it after victory, never during planning. You are building a mind that neither rumor nor flattery can steer. The crowd will test it. They will shove urgency in your face and call it responsibility. You will slow your breath, reduce the scene, count facts, and act only when the time is right. Command of the body is the first proof that your will rules. The fitness industry sells mirrors. Power requires obedience. Your flesh is a tool, not a temple. It does not vote, it performs. You say up, it rises. You say stay, it holds. You say again, it repeats. Vanity will try to hijack the process. More selfies, more compliments, more status. Decline, train for function, speed, stamina, carry, strike, stillness. Train for when sleep is short, food is poor, schedules are hostile, and the task still needs doing. That is the measurement that matters. Can you deliver under ugliness? Rituals make obedience cheap. Set clocks. Assign days to burdens. Remove choices. The more friction you remove from the right action, the less heroism you need to complete it. Write the program. Keep it plain. Execute it tired. Execution while tired is a secret continent of power. The man who can perform with low fuel controls events that break others. He negotiates longer, thinks clearer under insult, and fights calmly when the stakes rise. The world mistakes him for lucky. He is practiced. Sacrifice is the lever. Weak men add, strong men subtract. You will give things up. Comforts, invitations, habits, and sometimes people. Not out of hatred, but out of ranking. Mission above mood. Future above the appetite of the hour. Machiavelli warns rulers against costly mercy. You must warn yourself against costly softness. Every unfit indulgence you keep becomes an invisible leash. You think you own it. It owns you. Cut it. Feel the pain deliberately. On the other side lives speed. Unpredictability multiplies your threat. Predictable men are puzzles with the picture printed on the box. Anyone can assemble them. You must become the piece that doesn't look like it belongs anywhere until, snap, it completes the final edge. Speak less, reveal little. Randomize small patterns, arrival times, negotiation styles, training cycles. Do not be random in principle. Be random in tactics. Keep your values consistent and your methods variable. Confuse their expectation, not your mission. Silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. Learn to withhold explanation. No one is entitled to your reasoning or your schedule. The more you explain, the more data you donate to people who do not pay for it. When you deny them data, they hallucinate. Their fear fuels rumors that work for you. When you must speak, be precise. When you must correct, be brief. When you must threaten, do it once. People respect walls. They disrespect doors that never close. Allies matter, but not as idols. Choose them like tools, by fit, strength, and reliability under stress. Test people quietly. Give small responsibilities and watch for excuses. Respect those who deliver without costume. Distance yourself from those who celebrate before they contribute, who bring smoke instead of wood. Loyalty is not noise, it is repeated service. When the weather turns ugly, reward it. Betrayal will arrive eventually. Welcome it like weather data and update your map. Money is leveraged only when paired with discipline. Without discipline, it becomes anesthesia. Use cash to buy assets that reduce your fragility, skills, information, systems that earn while you sleep, legal advantages, equipment that compresses time. Avoid purchases that perform identity theater. You are not building a costume. You are building a fortress. A fortress does not apologize for being heavy. It apologizes for being weak. Information is oxygen. Read widely, especially what offends you. Study history to understand cycles. Study incentives to predict people. Study logistics to win without speeches. Keep a commonplace book, quotes, tactics, numbers, failures, bets, lessons. Review weekly. Teach it to someone who can argue back. Teaching tests understanding. Argument sharpens edges. Certainty without testing is superstition with better fonts. Make rules for yourself that hurt. Examples: never miss 2 days in a row. Never respond to provocation in under 1 hour. Never make a large decision at night. Never indulge without a prior plan to stop. Never beg. Never go to sleep with an unresolved lie in your life. These rules are fences around the garden. They cost little daily and save fortunes yearly. Break a rule. Pay a fine you feel. Pain builds respect for boundaries faster than lectures. Your attention is your most stolen asset. Guard it like a bodyguard who knows the boss dies if the hallway is crowded. Turn off non-essential alerts. Batch messages. Block times for deep work, and treat them like meetings with a king. The king is the future version of you who is judging whether you earn tomorrow's freedom. Disappoint him once, and he will forgive you. Disappoint him repeatedly, and he will revoke your crown. Train for lonely seasons. When you stop performing for applause, applause stops visiting. Let it. The quiet is where authority grows. You learn to like your own company, to consult your own judgment, to make decisions that would scare a committee. People will say, "You have changed." You will agree. You killed the parts of you that were available for cheap. A man cannot become rare if he insists on being everywhere. Kindness remains, but it is strategic. Be generous to the competent, the disciplined, the honest, the brave. Be dangerous to the parasitic, the dishonest, the sentimental tyrants who weaponize pity. Pity is a tool used by those who refuse to improve to extract labor from those who do. You may help, but you will not be harnessed. Draw this line and keep it bright. Your peace is not a public utility. Failure is tuition. Pay it fast. Pay it in cash. Do not finance your failures with blame. If you hide a mistake, it becomes a seed for a larger one. If you confess it early, it becomes a case study. Conduct after action reviews. What happened? Why it happened? What I will change? When I will test the change, write it. Put a date on the next attempt. Courage is not in never falling. Courage is standing up with notes. Time is the final battlefield. Hours are coins. Spend them like a sovereign, not like a tourist. Morning for making, afternoon for moving, evening for learning, night for rest. Or build your own cadence and defend it with teeth. Your calendar is your creed in numbers. If a man can predict your schedule, he can predict your output. If he can predict your output, he can predict your future. Write a future you want to read. What about losing your humanity? Here is the truth. Parts of what you call humanity are disguises for dependency. You do not lose compassion. You lose the habit of trading compassion for permission. You do not lose joy. You lose the need to be seen enjoying. You do not lose love. You lose the addiction to love that makes you betray your mission. The fragments that fall away are mold, not marble. Yet sometimes, yes, you will choose steel over softness, silence over sharing, distance over warmth. That choice stings. It should. Pain is proof that you are cutting living tissue, not dead bark. There are lines you will not cross. Power without principle degenerates into vandalism. Your code is simple. Do not lie when silence will do. Do not harm when distance will do. Do not escalate when patience will win. But when harm is required to prevent worse harm, you act without trembling. Mercy is a virtue. Selective mercy is statecraft. You cannot defend a city with feelings. You defend it with walls, gates, patrols, and consequences. Build them first in yourself, now systems. Build a personal operations manual. Morning, state mission. Select 3 moves. Eliminate 1 comfort. Work B block 1. Deep task, intermission. Walk, water, stillness. Work, block 2. Defense, tasks, mail, calls, logistics, training. Body obeys mind, study. 1 hour, notebook, open, evening, audit. What fed the mission? What fed ego? What will change tomorrow? Weekly, long march, 1 test that scares you. Monthly purge, 1 habit, 1 object, 1 belief that no longer serves. Inventory, your enemies, not people. Patterns, procrastination, vanity, unearned guilt, cheap dopamine, chronic apology. Name how each attacks you. Write countermeasures. Procrastination loses to countdowns and public deadlines. Vanity loses to uniforms and private metrics. Unearned guilt loses to audited facts. Cheap dopamine loses to distance and friction. Chronic apology loses to clear standards and smaller circles. You are waging war against habits that rent your mind at a discount. Acquire useful threats not to posture but to deter. Legal knowledge, financial reserves, documented agreements, reputational proof of delivery, a network that whispers your competence into rooms you have not entered. Predators prefer easy meals. Make your silhouette difficult, quiet, principled, competent, costly to cross. When someone wonders, is it worth it? The answer must be, probably not. Learn to sit with tension. Do not rush to relieve pressure. Pressure reveals. If you speak too early, the liar relaxes. If you concede too early, the taker widens his appetite. Hold the line. Count to 100 inwardly while the room heats. Watch. People confess their strategy when you refuse to decorate the silence. The man who can breathe slowly with a throat full of fire wins negotiations others consider unwinnable. Music heat. Music heat heat. Music heat. Music heat. Music raw heat. Music raw. Music raw. Music heat 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 raw. Music raw. Music heat raw. Music heat raw. Music heat raw. Music heat heat raw. Music raw. Music. I reward loyalty and punish deceit. I learn faster than I complain. I plan for disaster and build anyway. I let results speak at volumes my mouth cannot. I am kind by choice and dangerous by design. I keep my word, and I never beg twice. Return to the paradox in the title. This path can make you inhumanly strong, and you will lose parts of what the world calls humanity. You will stop seeking permission from crowds. You will stop apologizing for boundaries. You will stop treating feelings as commands. Some will call that cold. Let them. The warmth they offer is a blanket soaked in gasoline. You will keep a different fire, small, contained, bright enough for those who earn a seat, hot enough to forge the self you swore to build. Do not wait for a calendar or a crisis. Begin today. Pick one comfort and cut it. Pick one rule and keep it. Pick 1 hour and guard it. Pick one weight and lift it. Pick one truth and say it. Pick one lie and delete it. The door to the uncommon is narrow but open. Most refuse to squeeze through because the door does not flatter. You will lean, exhale, and pass. If this message struck the part of you that is tired of being soft, act before inspiration cools. Inspiration is a match. Discipline is a furnace. Put the match to wood. Feed it hour by hour until the heat is yours without asking. People will tell you it looks extreme. Smile. Extremes are where edges live and edges cut. The goal is not to feel powerful. The goal is to be difficult to move. When life shoves, you do not budge. When life burns, you do not plead. When life bargains, you do not sell cheap. Walk forward now. Quieter than before. Clearer than before. Harder than before. You are not promised easy roads. You are promised a spine that can climb them. Build it. Maintain it. Guard it. And when the world arrives with its usual chaos, you will not shout. You will nod, tighten the straps, and work. That is what the strong do. That is what you will do from this day until your last. Field manual, drills, and protocols. Cold start. Wake on the first alarm. Sit upright. Inhale 5 seconds. Hold 5. Exhale 5. 10 rounds. Drink water. Write your mission sentence by hand. Then 90 minutes of deep work before touching messages. Reason. The first battle of the day sets the language. The rest of the day obeys. The rule of 3. 3 priorities only. If a task does not move one of the 3, it is a favor you are doing for your future exhaustion. Decline or delegate. You are not a museum of half-finished exhibits. The 48-hour pivot. When a plan collapses, you have 48 hours to pivot from grief to design. List constraints. Identify resources. Draft Plan B. Schedule the first 2 steps. Action metabolizes despair. Famine day. Once weekly, compress comfort. Simple food. Simple clothing. No entertainment. Long walk. Hard training. Long reading. Early sleep reason. Rehearse scarcity until fear of scarcity loses jurisdiction over you. Silence window. Choose 2 hours daily where you speak to no one. Post nothing. Answer nothing. Fill it with building. Output is a language. It needs quiet to form sentences. The black box. Keep a log of decisions with reasons and predicted outcomes. Revisit monthly and grade yourself. This converts experience into data and data into advantage. Decision protocol. For choices under $100, decide in under 1 minute. For choices that affect a year, take a night. For choices that affect a decade, take a month. Match the weight to the window. Conflict ladder. Clarify privately. If unresolved, document. If still unresolved, set terms. If terms are refused, withdraw access. If escalation is forced, escalate completely and cleanly. Drama is for amateurs. Conclusions are for grown men. Price tags. Before accepting any commitment, name the cost. Time, money, attention, energy, and who pays. If the cost exceeds the benefit to your mission, Say no without apology. Every yes creates a debt. Pay only for assets. Presence training. Daily practice of one activity with total attention. Lifting, sparring, coding, drawing, instrument. Single task mastery translates across domains because presence is a transferable muscle. Detachment practice. Deliberately leave some messages unread for a day. Reschedule a non-essential meeting. Refuse a tempting invitation. Learn that the world continues and that you become sharper when you do less of what dulls you. Edge walking. Once a month, attempt something that courts failure. A speech without notes. A fast hike in bad weather. A cold approach to a room that scares you. A product launch before perfection. You are not building a museum. You are building range, thrones and traps. A throne is any position that grants leverage without constant begging. A trap is any habit that drains leverage while pretending to provide relief. Streaming is relief. Sleep is leverage. Gossip is relief. Study is leverage. Complaining is relief. Training is leverage. You will organize your world so that thrones are within reach and traps are beyond arm's length. Ruthless versus reckless. Ruthless is disciplined selection of necessary force. Reckless is theatrical force to impress spectators. Machiavelli respected the first and mocked the second. Choose outcomes over optics. The scoreboard is brutal and honest, signals of real strength. You can end a conversation without resentment. You can hear an insult and maintain posture. You can decline a good offer to protect a great one. You can suffer quietly and still execute publicly. You can weight antidotes to fear information and forward motion to laziness. Appointments with yourself that you keep to confusion. Writing to arrogance, service to envy, gratitude in the ledger and sweat on the floor. Authority in relationships. Do not negotiate your standards. State them. Live them. Enforce them with distance. Reward alignment with warmth and access. Punish misalignment with silence and removal. Do not argue with people committed to misunderstanding you. You were not elected. Reading the room. Look for who carries weight when they speak, who interrupts, who answers questions with stories, who keeps receipts, who brings names and numbers instead of vibes and slogans. Align with the competent and the brave. Decline the seductive and the vague. The inner court reserve your most private attention for those who perform under bad weather. Bring them inside the walls. Feed them information and opportunity. Push them hard and pay them well. Loyalty cannot be bought, but it can be honored. On apology. Apologize quickly for breaches of your code. Do not apologize for the code itself. Standards that protect the mission are not rudeness. They are architecture. People who hate walls always loved your roof. Entropy and renewal. Everything decays when not watched. Review your systems quarterly. Burn the deadwood. Upgrade the tools. Root the processes. Most people abandon what works because novelty flatters them. You will remain boring in method and spectacular in result. Case studies short. The athlete who retires without habits becomes a ghost of applause. You will be the opposite. Habits first. Applause optional. The builder who scales too fast chases capital and neglects craft. You will scale capacity before scale visibility. The friend who flatters in public and fails in private is a liability. You will keep receipts and shorten leashes. Questions to ask before action. What is the mission served? What is the worst likely downside and can I survive it? What is the exact cost in hours and energy? Which rule of mine does this violate? What would the smarter version of me do? Winter doctrine. When the world tightens, economy, reputation, politics, you tighten too. Fewer words, longer hours, simpler food, colder showers, cleaner books. Hard seasons do not require new virtues. They require fidelity to old ones. Two tools you always carry. Silence and time. Silence starves manipulation. Time exposes truth. Combine them wisely, and most problems bleed out without a fight. On teaching and command, teach by example, command by standard, praise specifically and in private, correct briefly and in private, fire cleanly and without theater, replace noise with systems, replace superstition with metrics, replace moods with calendars. Exit tactics. Before you enter any arrangement, define how you leave. Put it in writing. Practice it once in your head. The man who knows his exits walks in without fear. Legacy, not label. Do not aim to be called strong. Aim to leave structures that keep working after you are tired. Systems are monuments that feed your people when your presence cannot.